We generally use the word stress when we feel overwhelmed, overloaded, or anxious, and wonder whether we can actually cope with the pressures placed upon us. We are living in an epidemic of stress. Studies have shown that nearly 1 in every 10 people are likely to take an antidepressant medication. And among women in their 40s and 50s, that number is 1 in 4. That's why I found it vital to recognize early signs of stress and to develop simple yet effective ways to cope with it. To help us understand how stress shows up and what we must do about it, I would like to bring on a very special guest, May Britt. Today we are talking about something so important that everyone is going to relate to, and that is stress. And I think especially in a city like this, where there's so much happening and you have a very busy life, I find more and more people just totally stressed out. So my first question is, what is stress?
Stress is basically a threat or a challenge towards our well-being. And stress is the feeling that you get when you're under pressure. Stress doesn't always have to be negative, because stress is our survival, actually. It's our driving force. Because what happens when we are stressed or when we are in a trauma, our sympathetic nervous system gets activated and our blood pressure increases, our breath becomes more rapid, our muscles tenses, our senses becomes more heightened and alert. And with that, of course, our digestive system gets lowered, our immune system gets lowered. And the first trauma or the first major stress that we're experiencing in our life is our birth. So if our sympathetic nervous system would not function, we will not be here.
We wouldn't be here.
But if, of course, we are having a constant negative stress or challenge in our system every day, then, of course, it has a detrimental impact on our body.
On our body, mind, and entire
body,
well-being.
mind, exactly. And then, of course, it affects also our behavior.
What are the causes of stress?
Major events like a divorce, like financial problems, loss of a loved one, or even moving to another place, willingly or unwillingly. Social media is a big cause of stress. Yes, absolutely. People, they go on Facebook and think that everybody is having an amazing life while they might be struggling themselves.
Right.
If it's news media, it gives us a lot of negative information which feeds on our fear. Also, it's worth to mention that it's not just negative things that causes stress, because it can also be positive things that causes stress, like organizing a holiday, getting married, becoming pregnant, getting a promotion. These are also areas that can give us a lot of stress and anxiety. First of all, I think if you are in a specific stress situation in that moment, try to see if you can step out of it. Step out of it, and even if it means you move position, maybe you move position and you get a different perspective. So if now you and me, if we were in a stress situation and we will change chairs, immediately you will have a different perspective even on the room you're sitting in here, and it will divert you back from that specific immediate stress symptom or situation that you're in. Another thing, breathe. Breathing is extremely important. Yeah? When you breathe, you get oxygen to your brain, you can think clearer, and your circulation flows much better. So that is something else that is extremely important. When we are dealing with when we're talking about chronic stress, then exercise is very important. And I'm not talking about now training to become an Ironman or marathon or... No, do some brisk walking. We have the beach here. Go to the beach.
Anything simple, just
start. Exactly. Put the feet in the water, feel the sand between your toes. Go out to the beautiful desert, look at the stars at night. Something really simple.
And nature has the power to heal.
And nature has the power to heal. Nature heals all the time. Be mindful about the language. Be mindful who are you also surrounding yourself with. What is it that you're doing? Why are you doing what you're doing? Ask yourself those small, simple questions. instead of reacting, because often we just react rather than we step back and we act. We become proactive and act. Nutrition is another aspect that is extremely important. What is it that we are eating? Are we even getting enough nutrition? Are we getting vegetables? Fruits are important, but vegetables, that is the key.
A sip of water can really help you.
And a sip of water.
Come out of your stressful situation.
Yes, and make positive choices. So take the water instead of drinking another cup of coffee that creates more acid in your body and more stress.
Last but not the least, how can we do small changes in our daily lives for us not to reach to that stressful situation?
Take up half an hour in the morning where you can prepare yourself, maybe make a small gratitude journal for the day.
And it can change your whole life.
Yes, it can change. There are small things. And have a meditation for 10 minutes. You have so many beautiful meditations, 5 minutes. Just lower your brain waves and step away from this race.
We are on a treadmill to reach somewhere, but we aren't, we're just generally stressing ourselves more and more.
Think about that you have been giving the life for you. And maybe learn to say more no to others and yes to yourself. And the more you say yes to yourself and making positive choices, then we don't have to run so fast.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and throwing light on this subject.
Thank you for having me.